Hello everybody and welcome back to the Tech Team. So in this tutorial we are going to create our own classes in Python. So this is a really cool project that we are going to create today, and you should understand it because classes are really useful, and we are going to have lots of tutorials in classes in the intermediate series. So if you don't want to watch those series into the intermediate, I will have a classes and objects um, a classes and objects list, so you can go and watch the series there. So enough talking, and let's jump into the coding. And before that, you can see that I'm using PyCharm for this tutorial. I am doing that because you're going to see some colors changed in PyCharm. That's why I'm using it for this specific tutorial, so you're going to understand more things better. So let's start by creating our class. To do that, we need to write class, and classes are like functions that you can store functions inside classes, and you're going to understand what I mean as the tutorials go on. So to define a class, we need to write the class keyword, give our class a name, in my case dog. So there are lots of tutorials with this dog, and I am going to create another one. So we have this class dog that contains object. Don't care about that, just put it here. And inside this class we are going to define our first function into the class, and this is a new function. So we call this function init. You need to write like that, and this init function contains the self. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. So what init does is that when we run the program, we don't need to call this function, it calls himself. You're going to understand what I mean. And what this self keyword does is that it tells that this what we're writing here is inside a class. So just stick with me. I know that that was a lot, but you're going to put self in every single function when you're inside the class, so you don't need to care why that works, you just need to know that it works. So let's give this function a name and an age. So those are, think of them as a variable, and then we need to say to define them as variables, we need to say that we need to say that self dot name is equal to name, and self dot age is equal to age. Okay, so we have the name and the age, and now let's create another function right now that we're going to call talk, and you can see that it has the self keyword here, and we want to print like hey and self dot name comma you are self dot age years old. So what we're telling here is that we're going to print hey the name and that we are the age. So let's now get out of the function, and here is the most complicated stuff. What we need to do is we need to create a variable. Let's call mine Dennis and say that the Dennis is equal to dog. So now we get all of the dog parameters here, open and close parentheses, and we need to say the name and the age. So Dennis comma 13. Okay, so now we are telling that Dennis is the dog and the name of the dog is Dennis and the age of the dog is 13. So what we need to say here is Dennis dot talk. Okay, so I know that this is kind of complicated, but when we run the program you can see that we get hey Dennis, you are 13 years old. So what we are doing is that we're saying that the class dog has the init function. You see, we don't need to say that init is the Dennis and the 13. We just need to create a variable and set it equal to the dog, that the dog gets the function init, and we have Dennis for the name and 13 for the age. If we delete this 13 and we try to run the program, sorry, you can see that we get an error because we don't have the age. Okay, so we need to put 13 or whatever you want, and we get hey Dennis, you are 13 years old. So yeah, that's it for this first classes and objects tutorial. Don't forget to smash this like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all guys in the next tutorial. Bye bye.